Welcome everyone to the video. Welcome to the channel. Today is podcast day. So welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Poor Resellers Almanac podcast. I should point that whole thing out. Little play on words there, a play on Ben Franklin. But got some definitely some things to talk about here. We're gonna look at. I was watching watch a lot of content, or I have it usually just playing in the background while I'm, hanging out, listening stuff. And I was listening to the person is Primo Chemo. I mean, obviously that's their YouTube code name, but said something very interesting, which very relevant, I believe, and very true. So we'll discuss that. We'll talk a little bit about products, things you should be sourcing. We'll look at some what's sold, and let me know. I'm gonna leave the breakdown of fees and everything out of this video, just because it's getting a little redundant. So I'm just gonna leave it out, and maybe I'll pop it up every so often. Let me know if you like it. I'll bring it back. If you don't like it, or if you don't care either way, I'll leave it behind. But we're still gonna talk whiskey, and still have that. What else? Oh, I got some interesting customer interactions today, or not today, just over the course of this week, this first week in March. So, all right, but first, like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below, and let's go ahead and get a pour going here. What we have today is actually a Kirkland. So this is from Costco. This is the distributor is Alexander Murray and Co. So they're the distributor and they're the bottlers. They use their own label. It's obviously branded Kirkland, Costco. We don't know where this comes from. We know it's an Islay whiskey, so we know it comes from Islay. And as far as what distillery, no clue. A lot of companies, one of the big ones, Johnny Walker, they don't have any. Distilleries, not distilleries. Just whiskey companies or distributors. Johnny Walker does not have any distilleries of their own. They source all their whiskey. And so they're a Scotch whiskey. So they're sourcing all their whiskeys from Scotland. And they're bottling it in Scotland. Because in order for it to be, called a Scotch, it needs to be, produced, bottled, everything in Scotland. You really can't. I don't know if there's any legal recourse. A lot of companies do it, but Japanese whiskey, incredibly similar to Scotch whiskey, but it's not a Scotch whiskey. It's Japanese whiskey, even though they still use 100% barley. The flavors can be spot on, but they can't call it a Scotch. You can use all the same ingredients from a Scotch. This is an island. This is peated. At least I'm pretty sure it's peated. If I remember correctly, it's peated. So what peated means is so they take the peat, which is it's kind of weird if you look it up on YouTube. They're like these blocks of soil, but it's like moss, and it doesn't look good. But they use it to smoke. They burn it, obviously, to smoke the barley prior to distilling it, or getting to the end result here. So it gives it a very unique flavor, very unique smell, very medicinal, in my opinion. So think medicine, think those things from your childhood. Triametic comes to mind for me. Was my I hated my parents. I didn't. Maybe they did have other flavors back in the day. Maybe they didn't. My parents would always get yellow Triametic, and it was the worst. The worst. I hated yellow Triametic. Hated getting sick because I knew we were going to get spoon-fed yellow Triametic. But there's something about the island. Now, when I was really, really young, I did spend a lot of time in the hospital. I've said this before. I suffer from asthma, COPD, but I had really bad asthma when I was very, very young. Kind of grew out of it, came back, grew out of it again. So it as far as what triggers it, or sometimes some people just have it all. They just continually have issues. And when I was very, very little, I had the same issues. And for some reason, and I believe it's due to that, because I did spend I know I spent many, many times in the hospital, and I believe that's what Islay whiskeys that are peated, mind you, because not necessarily. a general, misconception is that all Isla whiskeys are peated, but it's not necessarily the case. There are some Isla whiskeys that are not peated, but peated whiskeys typically come out of Isla. And Isla is an island in Scotland. You can see see a little picture right here. That's what it looks like. Okay, so this one here is smoky carrot. So it is smoked. So it derived from peat. Considered central in the production of these fine single malts. So it's single malt. I don't think too, but a lot of people think single malt, or they pull it from, I think single malt, and they're like, oh yeah, it's just it's straight from the barrel into the thing. No, they still blend it. It's still a blend. It's just not, it's probably not blended from different distilleries, blended from within their own distilleries. So they still blend it to try to achieve the flavor, the profile that they want to achieve. Unless it says, taken directly from the bottle from the barrel into the bottle, then, that's what that is. But typically, even though it says like single malt, some people, think, oh, it's a single malt, it's all from one barrel. No, there's probably multiple barrels that were involved in the creation of this bottle. It just doesn't come from, all distilleries. Or from different distilleries, I should say. So let's see. The island of Isla is lashed. That does say lashed. Lashed by sea winds and rain. These elements, along with the smoky character derived from peat, are considered central in the production of this fine single malt. So peaty finish. Yeah, so it has peat. They say, so on the bottle it says full body, which, what the heck does that mean, really? So salted caramel and cigar smoke. So I haven't had this one in a while. It's pretty low. They do keep this in stock pretty regularly at Costco. At least at Costco's where you can buy spirits. Is this a twist top? No, should be. I think it's a cork. Oh shoot. The cork broke. Hold on. Okay, well, I got that cork off. I have never broke a cork on a whiskey bottle before, so that's the first. Okay. Well, we got it open. Now it's gonna have to go in a decanter. So, luckily, I have plenty to choose from to pour that into. It's not very much at all. It's not. I mean, it's not enough for me to finish. I mean, it's more than enough. Like beyond, I'm not gonna be able to drink all that one day. But I mean, there's still a good amount in there. So, all right, let's get the pour. This is one of my new. I found this at Goodwill. This will come out in a video. Will this come out in a video? No, this will not come out in a video because I wasn't filming when I did this. It might come out in a short though. But Glen Morangi, it's very faded. You can barely see it. They must have used a dishwasher for it. But found this at Goodwill. Found a bunch of distillery stuff. So I'm keeping this one. Really cool. See the lid? Let's get the pour. Okay. There we go. Oh man, there's some cork in there. Oops. Oh well. Kind of. Yeah. Close that the best I could. There is some cork in there, but whatever. We'll deal with it. It's not the end of the world. Get a little stir. Yep. Peat. You can tell the peat. It's like some people describe it as like an old, rubber. It's incredibly. It's an acquired taste. It is an acquired taste. Like I said, really, really reminds me of my childhood. Something in my childhood. My assumption is it's because of oh look, some of the cork is coming up the top as I'm swirling it, which is good. There's still a big chunk in there. See if I can get that out. But like I said, it reminds me of something from my childhood. Something medicine-y, medicinally. Definitely has medicinal smell to it. But the taste, let's see. Salty caramel and cigar smoke. Or definitely getting smoke. mean, there might be cigar smoke in there. There's definitely some sweetness in there. You kind of get the you know, and a lot of people do get this as a very briny, oceany, saltwater type of smell, type of feeling when you have Islays. And I mean, it could be just because that's, you know, it's distilled right there on an island, so just ocean surrounding the whole area. So could definitely take on some of the properties as to where, you know, from where it's made. I like Islays. One of my favorites, like I said already. Okay, that's really good. I would like to get that other piece out. I wish I brought a little spoon or something to take that out. But oh well, whatever. Okay, see, I got my little lid to kind of contain all the vapors, so it doesn't evaporate there. It's kind of cool. But let's go ahead and get into the what sold part of the video. We'll knock that out right now. So if you're here just to see what sold, let's do that. And I'll pull up some pictures here. So a few items. I think I did, what is this, 11 items? I think I got 11 cool, unique items. There's a lot of Legos this week. Some pretty obvious stuff. You know, Legos. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what else. Everything kind of blends into one. So again, what I try to do is pool the cool, the unique items, items that you may be passing up, items that you think, that will never sell, but that do sell. Or tough items, items that, you know, where there's no brand name associated with it. It's very, very hard to describe, or items like that. So those are the types of items I try to bring you, because I enjoy selling those things. I enjoy not just the challenge, but it's got to be cool. It's got to be, I'm not going to pick anything up just to challenge myself. I gotta have the feeling that I'm going to be able to sell this item. And yeah, I've had great success in doing that. I also pick up the obvious, like Apple stuff, you know, you know, there's a lot of obvious. Like, what are some of the obvious things I sold? I mean, I already mentioned Legos. Let me just see if I can go through here. You know, purses, purses sell really well. There are different brands that do better than others, but, you know, for the most part, you know, purses do incredibly well. If you can get a great price on purses, you know, you can really do incredible. Oh, actually, I do have a purse featured in here. I see Lego. I mean, VHS. A lot of people talk about Disney stuff, you know, Disney products. We sold license plate holder. We sold some of the antenna toppers, kind of obvious, shoes, Vans. Got some barware going out, backpacks, candlesticks, hat, shirt, Adidas, vintage Adidas satin shirt, button up, NVIDIA glasses, 3D glasses. A lot of stuff that's kind of, you know, in my opinion, just obvious things that you, if it's at a great price, you would be picking it up. So I definitely want to bring those items that might not be that obvious, and, you know, show you how, and show you the title and what I use to get these things sold. I mean, I can't share with you the feeling, like when I'm looking at something, I'll be like, you know I could sell that. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. I mean, that's kind of, you know, that takes time. That's a trade secret, I guess, with me. I mean, it's kind of hard. I can't give you my brain. So, well, I guess I can share what's in my brain. But okay, let's jump into these what's sold. This was a cool one because I'm a huge, huge Lord of the Rings fan. How do you know it's from Lord of the Rings? Well, on the bottom of it, it said Hobbiton. And, you know, I think I'm pronouncing it right. But that is a place in New Zealand. And if you don't know, Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand. But that's a place that'll do tours of where the movies were filmed at. And this mug is from there. So the Green Dragon. So if you see anything Green Dragon, just know that it's more than likely came from Hobbiton, or it's related to Lord of the Rings. And Lord of the Rings has a huge, huge following. By the way, this is not a Glencairn glass, even though it looks like a Glencairn. You know what I mean. It's not. I'm staring at the little cork floating around, trying to get it to get caught up on the side. mean, I don't want to dip. I guess it's alcohol. I could dip my whole finger in there. Oh, by the way, this is 50% alcohol, so we got 100 proof, which is above average for Scotch. Scotch is typically at 40%. So this mug was really, really cool. I do believe this is in a video. I'm not 100% sure. So when I first saw it, I didn't recognize it initially. And then I had to look up the Hobbit tin. When I saw Hobbit tin, I was like, Hobbit? That's kind of, strange. And then I just quickly looked up the word, and sure enough, after that, I knew exactly what it was. So really, really cool. But what caught me was how well made it is, how the craftsmanship that went into this. It looks, just like a unique individual piece, kind of like the Denim mugs, which are just really cool, well made mugs. It's not just your typical go to Target type of mug, and that's what drew me into it. Then Green Dragon. It kind of looks like an O. It looks like Green Oregon, but it's not. It's a D. It's a dragon. Really, really cool. What did it sell for? $34.54, and that's why I want to feature. These are also the items I want to show you. Those items that go above, the average when it comes to something like a mug or a hat. Because those, a mug going for $34. That's a little wild in the mug world, in the mug space, because mugs typically don't go for that much at all. They go for below $10, on average. So 15 is probably is a good price to get for a mug. $20. Now we're starting to look above average. This is, way above average in my opinion. There are some that go for a lot more as well too, a little bit more rarer, but this was a really cool find. Just look, Green Dragon. If you see anything Green Dragon, just know it's more than likely going to be from The Lord of the Rings or associated with The Lord of the Rings. Now, this was a really cool vase. It was not marked, but with the unique design that it had, I Google image it. It gave me the, all the information I needed on this mug. And it took a few months to sell. Didn't sell very, very quickly, but it took a few months. $30 even is what it sold for. Oh, the mug, the shipping. I didn't say that. The mug was $7.67 on the shipping. That went in one of my hat boxes, so $9.75. This one here also went in one of my hat boxes, $9.75. $12.61 is what they spent on the shipping. But it was just a really cool, unique vase, and it drew me in. It's glass. It is crystal glass. It's heavier. It has a design on it, the clarity. So therefore, it's kind of elevated to that next level of glass, and you can call it a crystal glass. Give it the title of crystal. But I had to Google image it to get the rest of the details, and you see there in the title, vintage art glass. Thousand Eyes. So it had a bunch of like I guess it's more like a thumbprint type design is what they would call it, all the way around it. So really, really cool vintage piece. So keep your eye out for cool, unique clear glass, but be cautious and use Google image. This was just funny because if you look here, like little jumbo airplanes and little jumbo airplanes here, these are paper clips, and they have the little FedEx truck on there. Just cool, unique. My wife picked this one up, and it sold for $17 even, and $5.80 is what they paid in shipping. Now, this is quick and easy to ship. It's very, very small. Went in a padded poly bag. I wrapped it with a little bit more bubble wrap. Then threw it in a padded poly bag, but it was all brand new, unused. Those, I believe the airplanes, the big airplanes, those are actually clips, and then the little purple airplanes are pins, push pins. So really, really cool, just unique. Very, very easy to list, to store, to picture, to get a title going. And I thought, and my wife and I both thought that, hey, this is cool. This can be resold. We can make money on it. And sure enough, we did. So not all cool, unique items will sell. Not all stationary sets. Like if somebody, this really appealed to airplane people, so maybe someone from FedEx, people like stationary, cool. You wouldn't believe, like, there are stationary collectors out there. There are people that collect weird, unique, cool, expensive stationery stuff. They're out there. There's collectors for everything. And we thought this was just cool enough to list, and sure enough, it did sell. So really cool piece here. And it was piece of cake. Piece of cake. Easy to store, easy to list, easy to ship, easy all the way around. It's easy. And talking about whiskey, this is an actual Glencairn glass. And this was by a, I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I can't, distillery in Isla. This is an Isla as well, too, an Isla distillery. These Glencairns do really well. So if you can get them in a good set, like they're all clear, but they will say Glencairn on the bottom. So definitely look out for it. If they're just a set of clear ones, you want to get a good little set together, 3 or 4. 2 will be okay, but the 3 or 4 would be good. And you could sell them for around $20, $25, $27 or so. These single ones definitely will need something else behind it. And this was obviously associated with a distillery. And this sold within about 10 hours after I listed it. And it's not going to sell for much. It was $14.46, and this went in a small little 6x6x6 box. $6.84 is what they paid in shipping. But they will sell quick if you got a nice distillery behind it. They don't all, like I have one right now, which has been sitting for a few months, and it was associated with some sort of event, some sort of live show. So it said Whiskey Live on it. And that one's been sitting for a while, but some of these other ones can do really well. And they generally, if they're associated with a distillery, will sell for right around $15-ish, is what you're looking at. So pay less than $5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or less if you can. These are coins, and these are not just any coins. They're from Intel, and my assumption is, because I really don't know what they were used for, but, actually, I'm sorry. It does say recognition on there. So I'm assuming you would have had to have done something like been on time for a whole month, and then they give you coins, I guess, to spend at an Intel store, maybe? I don't know exactly, but I do know that some companies, I know the hospital I worked at, they used to earn bucks, and then you could spend them on company merch. So I'm assuming that's the same thing here. But this is not new. This is old. They don't do this anymore. So I got a huge jar just full of these. And I've been selling them. And they've been selling it in lots of 5. And I decided to sell them in lots of 5. And they're selling for $7.21 per lot. That's what the lot is. So, I do have offers open, so some people can offer me less if they want to. And I just have so many that I got these at the flea market, got them in a big old bundle that we've already made our money back. And, then every time you sell, it's just a little bit more icing on the cake. So really cool item, easy to store, easy to list. The hardest part was counting them all out. Seeing how many were there. And there was a lot in that, big old jar full of them. A big old jar full of these coins. And it's cool, it's right up my alley. Intel. I picked up, no, it's not here, but I picked up an Intel travel mug just recently. I'm into tech. I'm a tech guy. I love tech. I've been involved in tech probably my whole life. So Intel, right up my alley. Piece of cake. If you can get it cheap, don't be spending too much. Don't be spending like, $1 or $2 on 5 of them. You want to get a giant lot of these things. If you can't find them, Chuck E. Cheese coins do really well. Chuck E. Cheese tokens, tokens from yesteryear is what you're looking out for here. And you can't pay too much because they're not going to go for that much. There are some, like in every category, that can be just wildly out of control, as far as how much you're going to get for on the profit. But not these. So I'll make a little bit here and there, and we'll continue to make a little bit here and there for, I don't know. There's a lot of them. So it's gonna take a while for them all to sell out. And then we just went in a small padded poly mailer. Napkin rings. Definitely keep your eye out for napkin rings. I'll also talk about silverware. Anything for setting up your dinner table. It can't just be anything though. It can't just be just random plastic. I guess maybe some people are looking for maybe black or just red plastic or white plastic napkin rings, But you know, the ones that will command a bit more are those cool, unique ones. These ones had mother of pearl inlay, and $30.74 is what this set sold for. $10 is what they paid in shipping. So just really cool, you know. And in your title, you're going to be using like dining. You can be using kitchen. You could be using dining room. And then where are you going to see napkin ring holders on a table somewhere? So table decor, just really really cool. And Pier One, you know, Pier One is definitely a bit of a premium name. It's not wildly like, it's not like what do you call it? Because I just got a scarf, another scarf from Burberry. It's not like a Burberry or Louis Vuitton, but it does, you know, it's a bit of a premium name, but just really cool. Cool, cool, cool. Padded poly bag. And I wrapped it in bubble wrap and then put it in a padded poly bag. Another one that went in a small padded poly bag, and these are these little slide rulers. Definitely keep your eye out. They do really well. They still sell. Just make sure to pick up. Make sure they're sliding okay. Like the metal part does slide out. Make sure it's nice and smooth. Make sure it's clean. And this one here was a tiny one, and actually had a little pouch with it too. Sold for $23.30. $5.80 is what they paid in shipping. So just a really cool piece. You know, these slide rulers, keep your eye out for them. They do incredibly well. There are some, you know, the bigger ones do go up closer to $50. And as you can see, you know, slide ruler, what the model was, vintage, California, vintage. Where are you going to find this at? More than likely in some sort of school setting. I don't think students are using it nowadays, but it might be like a cool decor, a cool thing to show your kids from yesteryear. Now this was interesting. This should be in a video if I remember correctly. I thought initially this was a mouse charger because my wife had found a Logitech mouse and I picked this up and I'm like, oh, is this a charger for that mouse? Interesting. But it's not. It's actually an iPad Pro holder slash charger. So it has, if you could see the little green, I'm sorry, green, little gold contacts right here where you would place your iPad down in landscape mode and it would just lay against it. I took an offer on this one. I think it could have got more, but I was like, you know, I don't have that much into it. So I was comfortable accepting the $50 offer. Now, what's interesting about this one is that the person sent me an offer. They accepted it and paid it. Then I get a message saying, I only agreed to pay the $50 and the $10 in shipping. The $4.50 you charged me, you need to refund it. I was like, what are they talking about? So I went in there, and it was a sales tax. And so I'm like, I messed it back. You know, that's the sales tax. I can't refund sales tax. And then they just said, lesson learned. I was like, what? Like, I mean, there's still going to be, I mean, I think everybody, this person was not, you know, a brand new person as far as I can tell, but I think everybody is well aware that you're going to have to pay, you know, a little bit more on top on most items. I don't know where, I forgot where they were from, but somewhere they were charged sales tax. So, I know some states, there are very few states now that actually don't, but it's something to be aware of, I guess. I mean, I guess some people just don't know that they're going to have to do that, but they did. So this one, I put this in a box just because I didn't want the, didn't want anything happening like it breaking or anything like that. It was a nicely well made aluminum product. Don't think it would have broke if I put it in a padded poly bag, but I did put it in a box. It was going to make no difference in the shipping, the cost of shipping. I just put it in a hat box, $9.75. Like, all right, let me just send it out there. Plus, the person was already being nitpicky, so. Now, this was really cool. This is one of those pat on my back items where it's like, wow, you know, I know what I'm doing kind of thing. No name. There's no name. The name is not concentric circles. I put that because there are concentric circles on the face of this watch. But cool, unique red silicone band. You know, has snaps. You don't see it in the picture, but the band, you actually snap it to put it around your wrist. But it was just cool, fun, all plastic. You it wasn't a high-end watch at all. It was a battery-operated watch, and it worked perfectly fine. I tested the hands. Always test the hands, and it worked. It worked great, and sold. I figured it would sell for around $20, and it sold for $18 even, and $5.80 on the shipping there, and this went in a padded poly bag. You don't see it here, but there's actually a plastic covering on top of it. But it was just a cool, unique looking watch. So no name. It just says made in China on the back of it. That's it. I opened it up. There was no name on the inside either. It was just a typical quartz movement. And put the new battery in it. Good to go. Concentric circles. Watch. Red, white. Silicone band. Sold within 2 days too, mind you. So you're not going to get rich, but you can't pay too much. 3, 2, 1 or less, or free, I guess. All rhymes. Now this was really cool. A purse. I said I was going to show a purse in here. This is vintage Old Navy. Typically I would stay away from Old Navy, but cool vintage. This was a suede leather bag. So really, really cool. Just, vintage all the way around. Those handles kind of look like Bakelite, kind of feel like Bakelite, but they're not Bakelite. They're just plastic handles. Kind of got that tortoise looking pattern to it. But just really cool top handle bag, kind of a little bit more elongated. Just really cool. I could have probably used Western or Southwestern in here, but, and I didn't want people to mistake that. I put plastic handles in the thing because I've had people, ask me when I sell some vintage items, not necessarily like this, but where the handles kind of look like Bakelite, which is why I mentioned it. Okay, is this Bakelite? 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 Bakelite? Even though in the actual details it'll say what it's made out of. So I'm just going to avoid all those questions. Whenever I see something that may look similar to Bakelite, I'll put, or looks similar to Bakelite but is not Bakelite, I'll put plastic or acrylic, or I'll use the actual name. I don't think these things are just plastic, and so that's why I put that in there. Typically I would not put plastic in the title, but to avoid a billion questions, I put it in the title. So really, really cool handbag, leather. Typically I would put a women's bag in here, but I didn't have any room. So Y2K, it's vintage, it's old, it's cool, and it got sold. It sold for $20 even. We're all the way down already. $6.53 is what they paid in shipping. This went in a padded poly bag. I did put a little bit of bubble wrap just to protect the handles, and then put it in a poly bag, and it's on its way. Really cool purse. This next one here sold really fast, within about a couple hours. I don't think I underpriced it, because I think I was kind of right on like where it would sell at. There was a recent comp of $74, but that was the highest. That was the highest I found. All of them kind of fell around the $50-ish range. Sold for $55.79. They paid $13.22 in shipping. But just something to keep your eye out for. I didn't initially know that this was going to be worth it. I picked it up because it's a cast metal of some kind. It's just a mixed metal. Probably a metal alloy. Which is what metal alloy means. The alloy means it's just a mixture of other metals. It's not aluminum. It's not light. It does have some weight to it. Really cool. So Pittman and Dreiser, no, Dre. I'm not going to attempt to do that, but it's a punch bowl holder. It holds probably a glass punch bowl, I'm assuming, and cast metal. So if it has been casted, I will put cast in there. Cast metal, cast aluminum, cast brass. You can pretty much cast almost any type of metal. Made in the USA, silver tone. Really cool. Sold incredibly fast. This went in a box. I actually had a box that was able to fit this because this was just about 10 inches all the way around. And so I had a box that was 11 by 11. I just had to fold down the sides. So it fit perfectly after I folded a little bit of extra on the fold. So I just snipped it off and sent it on its way. So piece of cake. Really cool item. Keep her out for it. It sells incredibly fast. You might be able to get a little bit more for it. I didn't think I could. I thought 55 was pretty fair. Um, but maybe there are confirmed comps up around 75-ish dollars. So you could probably hold out and get a little bit more. But I was happy with the price. All right, I'm going to stop it here while we adjust for just discussion. For the discussion. Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.